Hey guys, DJParson here, and I have another of the matches from the current season of the Intermezzo Championship. You saw the first one already, and now we have another one versus Machondo and once again Rosinic. So blue and Machondo here. So let's take a look at the leaders and wonders. We have the library already been grabbed, the Acropolis, St. Pete's, Joan of Archimedes, Machu Picchu can be quite strong, especially in combination with pyramids. So we could go pyramids and Cleopatra, and then a good follow-up could be the Machu Picchu. We have Maria, Suez, not that many MAs from the leaders. We have the, as I said, Suez and Cook and Isabella, so colonies are away. We have the Ocean Liner. Then we do have Pierre, we have Marlene, Maya Fleming, Hollywood, Chaplin as well. Alright. So Machondo took the library. And then I will grab Cleopatra and the pyramids. Pretty good start. Both of those for just one selection. Then blue takes Stonehenge and the rich land. Doesn't want one of the leaders here, but likes the Stonehenge. H1 will start. Machondo will build a mine. Increase pop. We'll go for leader. Yeah, goes for Sun Tzu here. Do we have synergies for him? I guess Columbus, maybe Khan, Eleanor. I mean, sure, colonies. Maybe if he's drawing colonies, but no Zizka for the obvious combination. I will go for Cleopatra. Of course, I want to use the extra rocks. Here it's two ways you could do it. You could either start building on the pyramids and finish that next turn, or build the lab first. And I think that extra science can be quite worth a lot. And then for my last selection, I will grab the frugality. Don't need the urban growth anymore, really. Frugality here seems okay, but not great, of course. Blue will go for Hammurabi. We'll increase pop, build a mine. Nothing out of the usual yet. He will, with the last selection, have the rocks to build one stage of the Stonehenge. Then Machondo opens the first development of markets. We'll grab breakthrough for 2. Build the lab. Increase population. Yeah, all A cards on the first row, so he didn't want to grab any of that. Grabs breakthrough instead. And then I will, thanks to the rocks, be able to build the first stage of the pyramids and also build a mine, so that's quite important. Sometimes with Clio you have the problem if you go philosophy first and then build your wonder that you stay on just 2 bronze. Which is okay because you have the extra rocks from Clio, but it also kind of negates the benefit from Clio, since I think the third mine has a lot of value. After 2 turns, it's already made back the rocks. So yeah, I'm happy that we had the development of markets, could take the rocks, and now have built the second mine. And then we also get the cultural heritage, so a lot of science that we have available now. Blue will go for irrigation here. He could develop that, grabs a rich land as well. Builds a lab and another rich land, so it's a lot of rocks. So next turn he could just go for the irrigation, upgrade that for free, so he will have a lot of population. One issue could be that he has no free pop, and with him having a lot of population in general, if he now can't use the developments, if that had been religion or warfare, but it's not, it is settlement, so each of us get another population. Machondo goes for swordsman and will develop them as his first technology, so starting to threaten. Shows attack. Is he gonna go Khan? Yeah, he will go Genghis Khan. Grab the urban growth. Not play Khan yet, which probably means he doesn't have any good cards, and he still will draw 2 extra cards. So maybe he doesn't have anything to push or wants more military things to push. Interesting that he doesn't elect Khan, since that would be 3 culture. So he says no to the 3 culture and yes to 2 cards, which I guess really means he doesn't have the best cards in hand at the moment. I will push and I will get the development of trade routes. Then I will finish the pyramids. Grab the swordsman. I guess I could have also grabbed the knights instead. Let's see what I do with my last civil action. I will develop those swordsmen. Not too sure about that, even though there is still another copy of the knights. I could have also seen it to just grab, develop and build one knight instead of the swordsman. Mainly since Mahonda has gone for the medieval army and is gonna upgrade that probably. With Genghis Khan he's probably gonna upgrade that. So yeah, swordsman costs 1 civil action less, costs 1 science less, but I think with that tactic shown, I think knights might have been better here. I could have also gone for Nostradamus maybe, so yeah, in general, I'm not sure if going for Swordsman was the right play here, and not maybe go for Nostradamus. That would have given us a lot of, yeah, a lot of space that we don't have in this way, especially now with blue getting the knights. We'll develop those, build one, so he's gonna have 3 strength, so it looks like we will have quite a bit of military really early on here. Wonder finishes his wonder, grabs an alchemy, doesn't elect Khan still, so he still doesn't want the culture, wants 2 extra cards instead. And I will push, we get the development of crafts, so a lot of rocks now. I will go for alchemy, develop that, can still use clear, can upgrade 1. Could upgrade another if I want to, but probably not. I can, yeah, I think it's better to just grab the urban growth next turn. I can get the second upgrade here for free. So we will have very good science production. Maybe go for a new leader. Isabella is here, she would be fine. We still have others. Joan of Arc, Eleanor, maybe even Michelangelo. So yeah, overall solid. I'm a little bit afraid of military. There's still a chance that we get the next knights, and we do have a tactic for just the swordsman, so it's not going to be super bad for us or anything. But knights would have been maybe a little bit better. Blue will finish his Stonehenge and grab iron. He will have corruption. No, he has Hammurabi, so he just has that. And builds another knight. Okay, okay. He is elected to go for these knights. Those are relatively expensive and have meant that he didn't go for the early irrigation, but with the extra science from the Stonehenge he will still be able to push out the iron and the irrigation very soon, and with the rich lands negating the cost that he spent into those knights. So I think he's also not looking bad at all. Hasn't upgraded his production yet, went for the knights first, but will still be able to upgrade his production very soon. Development of planning, let's check that one out. We have agriculture, civil life or warfare. I guess I will take warfare here probably. We don't have that many MAs, we need these swordsmen / warriors anyway. It's 2 rocks and an MA, that's a pretty good deal since I have to go for them soon anyway. Honda will go for alchemy, upgrade 1. He's still not going for Genghis Khan. Where is he? Yes, finally will go for Genghis Khan, upgrading the tactic. So we're up to 7 strength, pretty strong. And he also has the alchemy and already happy face solution for when it's needed. I will go for Isabella. I can elect her. By the way, I did not take the Peoria. I took the food instead. So getting myself more population, since we are probably not gonna go for irrigation. Having more population can also be good. And with Cleopatra we saved a lot of rocks, and with Isabella we produce more rocks. So maybe we have enough of that and didn't need those two free resources for the warrior. I'd rather have the food instead. So then I will build 1 swordsman and another swordsman, going up to 6 strength, and grab an iron as well as develop that one. We don't have a happy face solution, so it could have been good to maybe go for Forbidden City. It could have also been good to go for Theology, but I decided against that. I want the iron still, which is yeah, I mean, we need our population to put that into military. So how do we spend more rocks? By upgrading something. So I think it was 50-50 to go either for irrigation or the iron here, and I definitely don't think the iron is bad. Just to have anything to upgrade. And then there's maybe St. Pete's that we can go for Happy Faces. At first we'll see Blue. We'll probably go for St. Pete's. He will copy. No, he didn't copy. He played the medieval army himself. I guess to be not the weakest, but that is expensive since he also wants to copy this tactic. Maybe even next turn. Let's see what else he does. He will go for the St. Pete's, upgrade 1, and grab the Masonry. So yeah, pretty strong for him, having a lot of resource production, having Michelangelo plus Stonehenge and St. Pete's. Then he also gets the Masonry, so he can build more wonders cheap. He might even also get the Machu Picchu. So that's nicely set up by him. Honda will open a new deposit, so even more rocks, 3, 4, and 5. Honda will get those knights, the last copy denying that from me. Goes for another swordsman, so 12 strength from him, irrigation, and monarchy. So yeah, now I'm starting to worry a little bit, of course. I don't have the greatest tactic. I actually discarded the fighting band to keep the legion in hand. But I can go for that next turn, so at least I will have a little bit more strength as we start into H2 here. Let's see, I will upgrade 1, upgrade another, upgrade 3 of these irons. Show my tactic up to 8 strength. Actually not enough to defend against Machondo unless we get an H2 defend card. I grab Theocracy and Breakthrough. Breakthrough is very great, and then I guess with the last selection there was not that much to do. But the Theocracy will actually give me one more population that could go into another swordsman if needed. So yeah. Still a lot of this might be coming back to me ignoring the first knights. I think that was a mistake with this tactic already having been shown. If I had gone for that instead, like Blue did, he got the knights when I didn't. And he looks a lot better in military. First he will finish the St. Pete's, and he will also grab the Machu Picchu. This actually will give him corruption, so that's not perfect. So thank you, Michelangelo, for giving the 1 extra rock that gave him corruption. But still great for him. He can even finish this next turn. We'll get even more rock production to maybe even go for more wonders. So yeah. Machondo does not go for an aggression on me. I'm thankful for that. We'll build a bread and circus, grab the selective breeding, grab a code of laws, can upgrade a warrior to get out of corruption, 14 strength for him now. So let's say I have prosperity foray. I probably don't want to push in, though I'm not the weakest, so I definitely could. Maybe the prosperity, even though that will give a lot of food to Blue here. Even though I could also go for Happy Faces. Could go for bread and circus with Pierre being in. Could even build 2 of those potentially. It's also an early Nobel, so let's see if I push. Push the foray instead, which is, I guess, also fine. And we get our first colony, the strategic, which I can, of course, bid a little bit more thanks to Isabella, but it didn't have any cards. So Machondo is able to win this for just a warrior, doesn't even have to spend the swordsman. So that's great for him. And I will go for the Theocracy and Nobel. So up to 6 science production, and I grab Justice System 2. So I think this is a good turn to do this. Isabella, I mean, she's fine, but we have the 6 rock production anyway, so getting more science production is even better. We get more strength. So the fray that I put in, and of course all of these cards have been played by Machondo, who is the strongest. I could even build another swordsman to be even stronger than Machondo. Let's see if I do that. Yes, I do. So my free population. Where else would it go anyway? If not into military. I don't want to build another iron or anything like that. So yeah, next step of course is gonna be food. So selective breeding or ocean liner. I guess maybe Statue of Liberty. We have a lot of science production, so we could even later on go for Cornwall or something, or of course H3 governments. But this puts him at 13 strength. Drawing some tactics, not the best for us. It's better than none, but not really the ones we were looking for. Blue will go for Robespierre immediately, and then can go for the Republic Revolution. So he all of a sudden has all the civil action in the world. Can still finish this Machu Picchu, so I think he came out very, very nicely with this Michelangelo, and now an early Robespierre play. Has a lot of production and a lot of civil actions. A little bit dangerous with military maybe, so there could be aggressions by me and by Majonda, but Majonda will push and we get the cultural influence. So yeah, maybe Blue is regretting a little bit that he just lost Michelangelo and his culture production, but he got the Republic for that, so he can't be too mad. But the cultural influence doesn't do too much now. Majonda really loading up on technologies, even more as I'm saying that. Maybe a little bit too much in my opinion, I'm not sure. I guess science is the one thing that he really has a lot of. He's more missing the rocks. I guess cannons are important, navigation not so sure, maybe. But this is a lot of science cost in his hand. And he's only at 5 science, so yeah, hand is full. Next turn he can get rid of some of these cards, of course. But he'd much rather need like efficient upgrades or something like that. But yeah, I will be happy to get the selective breeding on 1, so I'm not gonna complain about his play. We get the reds. Ooh, Blue losing 5 food, me and Majonda only losing 1, so good reds. And this also means I can go for the selective breeding. I hope. Team sports and selective breeding here. Then I can grab the Harvard College. I mean, I have a lot of rocks, so that makes sense. Getting even more science production. I could then also grab the architecture, which is another great tech. I'm wondering if there maybe was a reason to not go for the justice system this turn, but go for the selective breeding instead. On the other hand, I think especially with this play, it makes a lot of sense. If I go for the Harvard College, I don't need as much population, and then I don't need the early selective breeding. So I think that makes sense. And then yeah, I will also grab the architecture. So play could be next turn, develop architecture, finish the Harvard College, grab a couple of yellow cards because I definitely want those, and then afterwards I can go for selective breeding. And now I have team sports on hand, which is a great tech, gives us the happy faces. It's great synergies with Pierre and Mandela. So yeah, a lot of tools grabbed this turn that will be great. More science, even though agriculture wasn't really absolutely needed, but 6 science production is not too much, so 9 will be very, very good. Could allow for some Nobel Prizes and so on. And we also get another tactic, the classic army. We have cavalrymen here, and there's another copy, so that's great news too. Blue will also want to upgrade his science production, grabs the scientific method and 2 efficient upgrades. That's very great for him. That will give him those upgrades for free. And then now he will upgrade food, upgrade rocks, copy the different tactics, go up to 8 strength, and they nice the cavalrymen, so I'm not happy about that. I would have liked to grab those, since I guess Majonda still has the knights too, so the last cavalryman should come into our hands, but if Blue hadn't taken it, it would have been more likely. Majonda develops cartography and the irrigation. Upgrades 1. Grabs James Cook. Okay. I guess there must be a lot of colonies, that's why he prioritizes the navigation here. But he doesn't elect James Cook and wants to stay being the strongest. And also, I mean, 3 culture production still from Genghis Khan. So yeah, this with the navigation should really give him the colonies that might be in the deck. And then next turn he could go for Code of Laws and maybe elect James Cook, something like that. Still not the best rock production, hasn't upgraded that yet. But for him a lot of things depend on what colonies he has and how much he has to spend for getting those. Vast is one of these, but for this one, that looks expensive. Blue seems to have either the willingness to send a full army or a lot of colonization cards. But Mkhondo gets this, has to send a full army too. So it is rather expensive, but of course it's vast territory. With his rock production though, this is very expensive. Like in the long run, it's probably still going to be great, especially if he also gets the sewers. So that's probably his plan. Then he will get his rock production, but for now 6 rocks gone is quite expensive. So yeah. But for me, I do get the architecture, finish the Harvard College, get the cannons, get a breakthrough, and as my last one I can still get the engineering genius. So for me everything's still looking great. I have the team sports now, which will be very cheap thanks to the architecture. Next turn I can go for selective breeding and team sports, getting my happy faces and the food. So yeah, near the end of H2 I will basically have everything I could want. My civil and military actions are just looking okay, but with my science production I definitely have the hope to get H3 governments. So that's not a big problem, and even so 6 civil action and 3 MAs is not bad. Blue will go for those cheap scientific methods, upgrading both of them of course, increase population, could even build another one, but decides to build a warrior instead. I definitely could have seen him go for yet another scientific method, but he decides against it, grabs the rifleman, so he will have the option to upgrade those, grabs an opera. Yeah, sure. Something to spend his rocks on. He still has the 8 rock production. Good food as well, could potentially destroy some of these bronze mines, since he still would have a great rock production. The operas are a little bit cheaper thanks to the masonry. So I like the opera definitely, especially with this St. Pete's. They will provide him with happy faces too. Honda opens another colony, this one quite cheap, just 3, so just the 1 swordsman for him. And he will have to rebuild, goes for the knights, increase population once and twice, rebuilds the army, now doesn't even need Genghis Khan, so he replaces him with Cook and grabs the Suez Canal. It's gonna be quite some time until he can finish this. He only has 2 rocks plus 3, so this is a little bit of a problem. It would have been great for him if he could have finished that a little bit sooner, but he had to spend his rocks this turn on rebuilding the army. So we'll see how long it will take him to finish that. I will open the fray, so me and Blue actually will win this, so this has been planted by me, so I win it, which is great. I get all the rocks. I decide to go for Statue of Liberty. I mean, I do have the engineering genius, so this will be quite cheap. I'm not sure if now wasn't maybe the time to go for selective breeding team sports, especially with the Statue of Liberty not being the greatest with just theocracy. Let's see, I finish this. Grab the wave of nationalism. I mean, still won't give me more population anytime soon. I need the selective breeding for that. It's definitely not a bad wonder for me. My problem, maybe it will be too late. Maybe this was like 1 or 2 turns too late, and after already skipping the selective breeding to go for Harvard College, maybe it would have been time to go for selective breeding. So that's just such a great tech. The selective breeding would give me a lot of population, even with bad yellow bank. And I could have gone for team sports, which is the solution for happy faces. So the yellow cubes here don't really help me with happy faces. I mean, they actually do right now, but not on the long run, since team sports for just 3 rocks is a great technology for me. So yes, obviously I played this game to the finish, and this might have been a position where I spent too many rocks now on the Statue of Liberty, where I could have invested them into something better, since it's not doing much at the moment. It's going 1 culture and I guess a little bit of food production, but selective breeding and team sports combined would have been just much more potent. So that is one play I regret a little bit. Blue will push, we get the prosperity. Even one more reason, I played the prosperity myself, so I knew that was one option. That would have been an even bigger reason to go for the team spots and select the breeding last turn. With my civil action, I could have upgraded both farms and built team spots. So yeah, small mistake, I think. Anyway, blue will go and upgrade his rifleman, or warriors to his rifleman. He builds one new one, upgrades a farm, upgrades a mine, frugality, rich land, and an urban growth. So he's still investing quite a bit into his infrastructure, still has great rocks, or even better rock production now, and soon probably wants to do a transition into operas. Can't do it next time because of science, has the rich land to upgrade his last mine. Yeah, he's in for a great late game. I'm still not sure about not going for an exocentric method. Like with this much production, he could have easily afforded a third scientific method that would have allowed him even more in regard of science. And 6 is obviously good, but not insane. And with his rocks, it feels like he could have sustained more science. So Mahonda grabs strategy, develops that. We'll grab reserves. So with the reserves, he can finish the Suez Canal sooner, so he will be able to finish that next turn. So that's a great pickup for him, these reserves. And then he builds one stage, and that's it. And this means we get the cavalryman, which is great for us. But first, we go into H3. Mahonda loses Code of Laws. Yeah, as I said, he had a lot of text in his hand, so losing one frees up his hand a little bit. I will go for team sports. Finally, can develop that, build one, go for the food, upgrade those two. Yeah, this turn should have happened one turn earlier. Still not a bad turn. I mean, especially now we started into H3, but we don't have H3 text yet, or H3 cards on the row in general, just at the end here. So this is a great transitional turn where you don't grab too many cards, since they aren't worth as much anymore, since betas are coming. And then I will grab the cavalryman, so that gives me the option to go for the classic army. What we are searching for the most is a new government form. And at the beginning of H1 we can take a look. Culture relatively even. Rocks not so even, 3, 6 and 9. Food seems okay for all. I think Mahonda has yellow cubes from the colonies. Science, I have the lead. So overall I would say me and blue are looking the best. Mahonda a little bit behind. On the other hand, he will finish his Suez Canal and then all of the sudden get great rock production too. So we'll see. Blue will push, we get autonomous. And these guys go pretty high for it. Mahonda wins it for 13 plus. That's probably the army. Yes, it is. That's expensive, but also really, really great for him. What did he take? Probably the rocks. Yeah, he took the rocks from that. So doesn't even need to play the reserves to finish the Suez. Gets new civil and military actions, and yeah, maybe the Suez will really save him from his. Yeah, I mean, without the colonies or without the Suez, his position wouldn't be so great. But with it, next turn he will be looking quite good. Also has Cook, so with 6 culture production at the moment, 5 of that from Cook. Okay, let's see. Blue takes air forces. That came out for him. Revolutionary idea, breakthrough, and upgrade his last mine. So he will actually have corruption, but not too much. He's definitely looking like he wants to go for military. As I said, he couldn't go for opera, so that's still on the table for him. He could still just develop opera next turn and build 2 of those. That will give him a lot of culture production. But he's definitely also looking like military might be an option for him. For that, he would need the military theory probably, or also the pro sport, because he needs happy faces. So he's not in an ideal position to go for military. So I think it's still on the table for him to just go to operas if no one else goes heavy into military now. So Mahonda will finish the sewers, gets a new colony as well. He will get the inhabited. These are some great colonies, autonomous and inhabited now as well. Gets him a lot of population, 8 rock production. So all of a sudden he has almost as much as blue. And then Mahonda rebuilds his units, 14 strength, efficient upgrade and reserves, military theory and revolutionary idea, and urban growth. So I think I will want some of these. I'm not the weakest. I could push the scientific input of science here maybe, or even input of architecture, but I go with science first, and we get the Cold War. So even more science. I'm now at 29. First I get the military theory, 20 strength now for me. Computers. I'm the computers, and we have Sid Meier as well as Einstein. Like Einstein plus Nobel Prizes could be great. We still have the discount on the computers here. So let's see if I upgrade 1. Only problem I think we see with this is that I don't get any new rocks. Sure, I do have the wave as a little bit of a backup rocks, but these urban growths could have been great. On the other hand, the science here, especially combined with the input of science and also input of architecture in hand. I guess for input of architecture, it might have been better to grab the urban growth. So one idea could have been to not develop the military theory and grab the urban growth instead. Even use the urban growth with the Howard College. That is possible. So something along those and getting more rocks. Like I am now the one with the least rock production. I also don't have too many civil actions, so with these rocks lying on the board for just 1 civil action, kind of feels bad to not get them. So yeah, that is one problem I see here, but still great to have the computers, have 12 science production. And blue gets the democracy, the first one. Can go for the revolution with Robespierre, so not drawing any cards, but getting the democracy for almost free. And then I guess he's gonna go operas. Yeah, so he sees that I have grabbed the first military theory, so it would be quite hard for him to keep going for military, and he has the option to just go for democracy himself and then transition into these operas. Can go for 2 this turn, 12 culture production all of a sudden, so great transitional turn. And he gets the democracy that I really would have liked to have, but I didn't get it yet. Honda grabs revolutionary idea and the multimedia and modern infantry. He likes to grab a lot of cards, increase pop once and twice. He of course always has corruption issues with having 8 rock production but only the bronze, but he gets out of it, going up to 22 strength and 2 armies. The biggest problem for him is he has, besides Cook, has no culture production whatsoever. I mean 1 culture production, so he can't go for any other leaders. So if he wants more culture production, multimedia is a way. But if he loses Cook, that would be quite devastating, since 6 culture is coming from that. So yeah, still not looking bad now. I think blue probably is in the lead, but me and yellow looking equal, kinda. Another colony, and Mahonda's able to win it, so he's having the colony game of his life. Once again, a full army, so he always has to pay quite a bit for these colonies, even Cook not enough to give him enough reach to not pay in the full army. But he also doesn't have to worry about aggression by blue. But yeah, now even 7 culture from James Cook and 9 rocks thanks to that Suez Canal. I get Sid Meier, so that at least is a great way to transition from these computers. So I get Sid Meier, I elect him, I upgrade computers, increase population, grab an urban growth. I mean, was it really necessary to increase population? Couldn't have maybe grabbed efficient upgrade and urban growth. I could have even used the efficient upgrade the same turn for the computers. Might have given corruption if I didn't increase population, but it still feels kinda bad to not get all the rocks. I mean, at least I get the urban growth now, so the next computers will be a lot cheaper. I'm also not too afraid of blue, since he just went for democracy. But he's also going to get the military theory now, so that is now guaranteed for him. So he could still go for military. So I'm very happy that I at least have the way for nationalism. But looking at my military, I mean, at least I have a tactic I can transition into. But blue has a lot of rocks if he goes for 2 air forces plus military theory soon. It could be dangerous. So we will see 33 signs in the hand, though. That is great. Now Nobel Prize enabled as well. Blue will go for Einstein. Can go for civil service, develop that, increase population, and then build another, no, not another lab, another drama, opera. Go for military theory as well. So yeah, he has a very high culture production and good science. Not as good as mine, but up to 8. Has a great impact of progress. We only have 2 impacts in already. We don't even know who played this one. I don't know why that is not shown. But yeah, very, very interesting with him having 15. I'm at 9 and I'm behind. Honda is up to 54, but at 8, so he's kind of stagnating. He can go for multimedia, that will help him a little bit. But he can't go for new leader to upgrade his culture production. So he is at 8 with his great leader already. National pride, that helps blue quite a bit. Honda will go for multimedia and build one. Yeah, has to pay the full amount. That's quite expensive. 11 rocks. Like me, I have discounts, and blue also has smaller discounts, but Honda, that is quite the investment. 11 rocks, but helps him getting out of corruption. He has the 9 production, so also not too bad to spend all of that in one turn. Grabs movies and patriotism. Not 100% convinced by the movies. I mean, sure, there's Fleming, but the thing is, Fleming is not producing more than Cook at the moment, even with movies and multimedia. So just having Fleming for 1 turn, is it really worth it to transition into movies? Maybe. And he could be setting up for Hollywood and internet, so I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but he had to pay 2 civil actions for the movies. That could have been another revolutionary idea, and I think I would have liked that more, but yeah, it's also fine. So I go for a military alliance with Honda. I see the threat that blue could become, so I give both of us 3 extra strength. I don't have really anything good to push anyway. I will build another movies, grab the air force, so I will be the one getting the extra air forces. And develop, develop the air forces and the cavalrymen, giving me the Nobel Prize. I'm still the strongest, get to increase population, and then do I build a cavalryman? No, not yet. Alright, so still I'm the strongest. I'm up to 12 culture production thanks to Sid Meier. So Sid Meier giving me 9 culture, which is really, really good. Still on 15 science production. Potentially I could have gone for the fundamentalism here. That would, I mean, the -2 science isn't really a big deal when you have 15 production. The biggest problem is probably that it's on 3 civil actions for this turn, so it doesn't give me new civil actions right now. And I still would have probably preferred to go for democracy. Even communism would probably be better. I guess fundamentalism is better than communism at this point. But yeah, fundamentalism could have been fine here, depending on how afraid I am of blue. And looking at his civilization, I guess maybe I should be more afraid, with him having the military theory and the option to air force, as well as the great position in 3rd place to go for late wars. So he's still definitely a big danger. International negotiations, so blue can decide what Honda will have to give me, and he decides that that should be science. Sure, I mean, doesn't really do much. I have more than enough. Honda also has a lot. So this is a very high science game from all of the players here. So interesting that like Honda probably would have hurt the most if he had to pay rocks. but that also would have been the best for me. So looks like blue is not thinking that he should improve my position and weaken Mahondo, just changes the science, which isn't the biggest deal. So blue has grabbed the fast food chains, a couple of techs, which of course are good with the Nobel Prize, and especially so with Albert Einstein. So he doesn't feel like he needs a war. He thinks with his culture production, Einstein, Nobel Prizes, and a good wonder, he will get this. And the biggest problem for me is there's only Hollywood left, so I kinda missed out on all the great wonders that I could have gone for. No internet, no fast food for me, no United Nations. Even if I state building, I have the biggest science. I guess that's kind of strength at the moment, but internet could have been great for me, but I missed out on that. One problem of not having a new government form. So for me, it definitely hurt that. I mean, now they all come out. Now all the governments are here. But I would have needed one at the beginning. But the only one that showed up early was the democracy for blue. So a little bit unlucky for me not getting a new government form. But yeah, that happens. So blue will end his turn on 90 culture. I have 56, so quite a lot. Yellow also still is ahead, so at this point I think I have to start worrying about not coming in first place. I think that would be very hard to take that away from blue. I mean, he's 30 rocks, the highest culture and the best culture production, as well as a great one as in production. So I probably just have to hope that I can beat Mahondo here and don't worry about blue. Mahondo will push. We get the crime wave, so both of my opponents lose 3 culture, so that's great. Also the blue cube for Mahondo hurts him, but he could go for the democracy, so yeah, he will get the democracy. So I, the person who has been searching for democracy basically since age 2, since I had the science, will be the only one not getting the democracy. Mahondo will get cannons, build one, build another one, 24 strength for him, show the fortifications. He also got Nobel Prize, so 85 culture for him now. I will declare war on Mahondo with the hybrid war that I've drawn. So yeah, this, as I said before, is now my way to try and secure my second place. I mean, the problem is, if I don't go for military, if I try to go for, I don't know, Hollywood is probably too late, but I could go for communism and another computer, something like that, then there's still the chance for blue to go for war on me. Like, if he feels like he should win even more, he could go for military theory plus, I guess not plus air forces. But yeah, if he had a war, he definitely could make that work. He could even wait one turn, he could prolong the game. So I think it's in order for me to go for military anyway, and if I do that, why not go for war on Mahondo in the same turn? So that's what we're seeing here. Fundamentalism. Get that happy face back that I lost from the hybrid war. So team sports number 2, 25 strength. And then I can go and build cannon. So I can build cannon, cavalryman, destroy a farm, build another cannon, and show the mechanized army. So 42 strength, not even that much. Not able to integrate my swordsman into a real army. I couldn't go for 4 cavalrymen. Then I could have gotten 2 armies of the classic army, but I wasn't able to do so. Not able to go for air forces. I think also was not able to go for 2 cavalrymen and an air force. So this is the most strength I could get together. 42 to 23 from Mahondo. We can go for 2 cannons. So hopefully I still win this war. Won't be too much, but it's also very disruptive for Mahondo, who has no happy faces now. So it won't be that easy for him to defend. That's my idea. So blue will push. We get the Input of Science, which I'm still able to win. So I still have good impacts. So even with that is a way to beat Machondo, who doesn't have the best impacts, I think, besides colonies. If he has colonies, then he has one very, very good one. But yeah. Blue will go for tanks, building one of those. Deny the communism, grab reserves, computers, really end the age. Yeah, he will end the age. So he says, I have enough rocks to finish my wonder next turn. Why risk anything? If DJParson has another war, maybe can go for air forces. Even that, Blue could defend that with his rocks. But Blue also sees no reason to continue the game. I remember that I counted that. I knew that he couldn't end the age regardless, since he had so many civil actions. So I felt like no chance of beating Blue with his wonder. And I guess sure, I could have gone for communism and build another computers. Might have been enough to also beat Machondo. But I feel like this with the war makes it even more likely. Since this, I mean, now in H4 James Cook dies, but Machondo then won't be able to go for Hollywood or anything like that. But he wasn't before either. But yeah, he has an active uprising now because of the hybrid war. So let's see how he can defend this maybe. First he gets the arms industry, so he gets 2 extra rocks. That might help him defend. He gets Marlene. He's able to go for the pro sports. So he will actually get a lot of strength together here. 41 for him. So yeah, I made him pay everything into military, so I still think this is a good... this was a good move to go for the war, since I think I paid less than he did. He had to destroy a lot of things, couldn't invest more into any culture, and I will outproduce him now. Even though he basically got a lot of extra help from Marlene, which probably was foreseeable that he could get her, but also 2 extra rocks from the event. Even then I was able to win, and this is only the hybrid war. Even if I lost by 1 or 2 strength, that's not the biggest deal, since no extra 5 culture like in the war of the culture is lost. So yeah, 1 small war win for me, just the 1 culture. Interesting, and then we get our first impact. Balance 6, 6 and 12. So even before production, I'm almost have Machondo's same score. I will go for engineering, develop that, grab reserves. Can use that thanks to the Harvard College, increase population, build another computer, tanks, develop that for the Nobel Prize. So yeah, that will be all from me, but even after this turn, Blue has more culture by quite a bit. Hymn of Wonders will even improve that, 8, 11 and 13. And yeah, Blue has 31 rocks. Will finish the fast food chains. Wants to be the strongest too. Multimedia for Einstein. Can even build one. Go fast food chains for 23. So yeah, he has more than enough culture to win this. He just had a great game from the start. He had a great transition from Michelangelo with the wonders, grabbing Machu Picchu, which was an insane wonder for him with his production. And then from that immediately into a republic that he got with Robespierre. So just a very clean game for him with the rocks from the Machu Picchu, and just being able to afford so much. We still see the impacts. Architecture 13, 16, 8. So I increase my lead over Machondo. We have government 24, 24 and 22. So overall very high government score. In general very high science scores. Overall a lot of everything. A very peaceful game. No H2 wars, anything like that. Not too much military. Overall, very balanced civilizations. 4 computers from me. Couple of operas. So yeah, interesting game with very high scores. We have progress 20, 22 and 14. So Machondo lagging behind in those big impacts a little bit. 16, 16, 12, for variety. And then competition 18, 14, and 13. So that's it. Congratulations to Wozniak for blue for winning this game quite convincingly. Very solid, clean game by him. I also had quite the lead in the end over Machondo, so I would say deserved second place. At some point it felt like maybe I had a chance against blue. Maybe if the government would have come early, if I got the early democracy instead of him, that could have changed things. But overall, I guess I have to be happy with getting the second place secured here. Yeah, congrats to blue for winning this match. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And yeah, see you for the next one again.